Welcome back to the Taylors of EV podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys feel like our cars make us like snobs
Yes.
towards like
Obviously.
other cars? Okay. It's not just me. I feel much better now.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you're in your car. You're
I'm
always
very-
in your car on the
am.
podcast, dude.
Again in the car,
Get out.
Drew?
Oh my!
The battery
goodness.
died years ago and I can't get out. Won't let me.
Yeah, I'm very pretentious in my car. I don't mean to be. I come off that way and I just like, all right, whatever.
I used to not care really about cars, interiors, exteriors at all, but we went on we were carpooling with our friends when we were going on this retreat, and it was just like, I felt dirty.
Yep.
Inside, it was like, this is
that
so
gas
weird.
I smell?
Yeah, what's that noise? Or all these vibrations and all this, and I think I've spoiled myself to the point now where I have unrealistic expectations, and it's turning me into a jerk. It's not good.
You are a jerk, Drew.
We are now in the pompous Drew era of his life. We're in that chapter.
We've reached that, yeah.
But it's okay.
I'm
Darn it!
accepting
You worked long enough to get to it. You could be that for a little bit. It's fine. It's fine.
Put in the time, put in the hours.
It's all about drive.
Yeah, and I had to, because I still, luckily, have not had to go to a gas station since before we got this car. But when my parents were visiting in town for like a month or so, they were using the old car. So we were an all EV household. So there was no Sonata to be seen, and I loved it. But they were done using it, so we had to drive it back from where they were staying to home. And I hadn't driven the old car, and it did not feel familiar at all. It was so weird. It was like, this is the car I drove for 5-6 years, and I suddenly have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I don't recognize anything, and I'm like, wait, why is it moving already? Like, as soon as your foot comes off the brake, it just starts rolling, and I'm like,
do you find yourself going to the gear stock over? You're like, oh wait.
I was. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't reach for it, but I was mentally like, okay, I want to change direction, and I go for the gear. Oh, wait, no, it's down here. You got to move it this way.
Yeah.
And I forgot how much sheer vibration there is in that car specifically, but also just in all the gas cars. I rode in 3 gas cars in the past week.
You're a
And
terrible person.
I didn't enjoy any of them at all. And I feel like, Drew, you used to not care about this at all. Like, this used to not be something you thought about. And now, just because you spent so much time in the Tesla, everything else feels just weak and weird and shaky, and just like the steering wheel. You can feel it. There's like this different level of torque going on in front of you, and you hear it too when you're accelerating, and just oh, it's bizarre how
the revving.
complacent and just how comfortable I got now with this car, because I didn't feel like I was driving a super futuristic, super new car, because it had its problems that needed to be serviced.
Yeah.
And eventually it's now worked our way into, it's the car. You're not really thinking about, oh my God, we're getting in a brand new, no, it's just like, we got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're just enjoying it. And my panoramic, whatever it's called, staircase is reset. It feels normal now. This is the standard experience. And everything else feels, oh.
This is your
bizarre.
new normal.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know how often you guys, I know both of you still have gas cars in the house.
We all
or
do.
in the
We all have
premises.
at least one other gas car, except mine's a truck.
I'm working on it. I really wanted to get rid of it, but it's just too dang convenient for when other people come to town, which we've had several family members come, but we don't use it really for anything. It's just like the designated vehicle for guests. It's like they don't have to rent a car now. We just pick them up from the airport, which we've definitely become the official family shuttling service, because we're the only person in the immediate family with an electric vehicle. So they know it costs way less for us to drive.
Slap a
there and
taxi
back.
sticker on the side of it. But
It is, yeah.
Ericsson taxi sticker or something like that.
I think 4 or 6 times this month or something like that. We've been to the airport and back. And
Robo Taxi is now just Andrew Taxi. That's what you are.
and I'm free. That's a lot cheaper. But the
That's a
one
good
rule
deal.
we have, that's a good deal, is that if you're borrowing the Sonata, you have to fill it up when you're done
Yep.
with it.
That's just
Because
proper
that way-
etiquette.
Well, yeah, and also it means I don't have to go to the gas station.
Yeah.
While we can still keep the car, it's still registered to us, and we're still paying.
You have to do that with
for
rentals
registration.
anyway. Bring it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. That's just
So
proper
the
etiquette.
car
If I
part
were-
is free. It's just
Yeah.
the fuel that you're paying for. So, yeah, my dad topped it off, and I was like, thank you, because now it will probably not be used again until you come back, because they're visiting again in December. So the car's not going to... I think we have to get it smog checked in November.
Ew.
But,
Wait, what? Checked?
yeah. You have a Yaris. Shut up.
Come to the Bay Area. You'll know
You
what
got
smog is.
But
Listen.
I'm so much looking forward to getting rid of it, because my wife has agreed if we get the Aptera, we don't need the Sonata. That's the last.
Is the
factor. She's
Aptera
like,
going to
it's-
be the guest car?
Ooh.
I'm
Oh,
coming to see
depending
you.
on-
Right? I'm going up.
well, depending on how nice the Aptera is, maybe the Tesla will become the guest car.
Oh, stop
Who knows?
it. I already drove the Model 3. I already have that.
Well, that will by far be the cheapest vehicle to drive. So I guess if guests were coming, that would
No, I would
fill
have
her up when you bring it back.
Parks it out in the parking
Hey,
lot.
Parks it in sun.
I'll pay you in double A batteries. I got you.
Here you go.
So,
Enjoy.
no, actually, in this
It
hypothetical,
does work on 2170s, so yeah.
it does work.
Basically that.
If I came see you, I would
2170s
have
are
to use the
freaking
Tesla.
awesome.
Though. If you have the Aptera, I would need the Tesla because if I in that scenario, I need to put a car seat somewhere.
Mm.
So
Yeah, you couldn't legally put a
I
car
mean,
seat in
yeah,
the-
you could put it in the back. It's just
no.
Wouldn't be legal, but
Yeah.
it's just your child's safety. It's not that important.
Oh, that's that whole thing.
So that's why I'm rooting for Chris. I'm rooting for Anthony. Just take as long as you need. Just make that vehicle happen, because as soon as it does, we're selling that thing. We don't need 3 cars. We barely need 2.
So
it's
you're this adamant
it's-
about Aptera, like you're like I'm gonna get an Aptera.
It's the only vehicle outside of what the Model 3 fits our needs best.
But the
in terms of like
Rivian,
the Rivian's amazing. I love Rivian, but I just have no need for one, and I really wish I did. Genuinely, I had a dream last night about this. Since you brought it up,
yeah,
you've opened the door.
let's do it.
I had a dream that we lived somewhere kind of in even a more rural environment that was like you had to drive on a long dirt road and like through a creek, and it was like
Wyoming?
snowing. Yeah, Wyoming's not a real place, but
That's
the
Idaho.
car we
Or
were
Ohio.
in.
Ohio's not a real place.
No, they're both fake. But we were in like our old Trailblazer, which
Okay.
we don't have anymore, but it was still in my dream because of the blazer effect, I guess. And we were driving it through a creek, and it got stuck in the creek, and we all had to jump out of the car, and it sunk. And I remember thinking in the dream, as the car was sinking, we should have got a Rivian. I don't know why that would have been better, but for some reason, the quad motor or the wading depth would have allowed it to propel through the water, and it was like a icy, snowy environment. I don't know why I was dreaming about that, but I was like, I woke up that morning and I was like, am I supposed to buy a Rivian? Is it
Yes.
like built into my heart?
Yes.
But no, the truth is, it really would just be a shuttling vehicle most of the time to the airport and back. Occasional road trips, which I don't feel confident with Electrify America right now. So, and it's just expensive on top of that. So
Yeah.
it's
You
not
don't
an
say.
efficient vehicle. It's not that cheap. So Aptera, though, hyper efficient, way cheaper, and I love the cost of ownership is the biggest selling point. The fact that where I live, it would definitely hardly ever be plugged in. We could easily let it just sit in the sun, and that would basically cover our daily driving habits. And we just take the Tesla when we need to take more than 2 people, which isn't too frequently. So
I wish.
Very passionate about Aptera.
I wish I was back in San Diego for an Aptera. I would be, I'll even take Florida, but I want to be in a sunny environment all the time. And ew. Listen, I already get.
I like Florida.
No.
Florida's nice. Yeah, Florida's nice. Florida's home.
Too many hurricanes.
Less fire though.
Yeah.
Water, fire.
I'm looking at the photos being posted. I'm getting distracted. Anyway, I wish I could justify an Aptera, but given my circumstances, I think
Yes, I understand.
I would really be okay with my next vehicle being a Rivian. And I say that because in context, I don't think I'm going to get another new vehicle for years. But the Rivian, to me, even if the Cybertruck's out, I think us as a household, we are going to let that one go.
As a household.
As a
I love
household.
it. You, your wife, Kika, your son, everybody.
Everybody. We
agreed.
talked about it, and I was like, Kika, look, you're not holding up your end of the costs here. You're not bringing in income. You barely kill the bugs in the house. You're doing the bare minimum here, man. I can't afford this truck if it's gonna be, because listen, I don't disagree about the pricing of what you're saying for the higher end. I don't think it. The Brittany wants the tri-motor if there is a thing, and that was gonna be in the high.
And I'm convinced the Cybertruck is going to be 6 figures and low range. And I know we don't agree on that, but we're both we're like disagreeing, but we join hands on Rivian is freaking awesome.
Well, not only that,
Everybody
we join hands because I do agree a low range will happen, and we can't spend 6 figures, which I'm adamant that a tri-motor would be. If day one tri-motor's available, it's not going to be $80,000. Please,
No,
it's not going to be.
I don't think it'll be a tri-motor either. I think that's
but
all.
I know.
all
But
gone.
assuming it is a tri-motor,
yeah,
it's not going to be 5 figures. It's going to be 6, and it's
agree.
not going to have 500 plus for mile range.
I'd be shocked if it did. To be honest, I'd be impressed. I'd be.
But I
very
know
impressed.
it won't, and that's immediately a deal breaker for Brittany. That will be a disqualifier. She goes, then I don't want it. That was one of her big. I want the range. I don't want to go to and from, and have to stop at a charging station for work. Or like, I want to be able to commute a few times and treat it more of the same range that I can get. Because unlike me, Brittany will use the supercharging stations every chance that she gets when she needs to, but she doesn't want to do it daily or every 2 days. She would want to do it every 3 to 5 days with her to and from the base, which is more or less what she's doing now. And she likes how it is now. She's okay with how that works now. But if you go under 500, she's like, it's not even worth it. But the Rivian, the Rivian, I can definitively, like, I'm going to buy a Rivian. I'm going to go on the website, place my order, wait my queue, and whatever the price, like, assuming price is not an issue, then I get my Rivian, I get my perfect green, I get this, I get that, and I will get that before a Cybertruck would ever show up at my doorstep. And that already is a plus. I agree. Electrify America has me like, well.
Well, that's why time is your friend here, though, because Rivian is building their own network, which I'm very happy about, and it makes me super mad at everybody else, whether it's Lucid, Kia, Hyundai. Like, you guys should also be doing your own networks. Don't just say, like, well, like...
Too hard. Too tough. There's already existing stuff out there that we can use.
All this existing crap that doesn't work. Yeah, we'll just use that network. It's fine, right? Right? And here we go. Rivian is developing all these level 3 fast chargers with pull-through stations for trailers that just have plug-and charge. And the fact is, it's just very early, so there's not that many of them. There's not like a wide array of Adventure Network chargers, but they are working on them. I gotta find the name of that Twitter account. I'm following a Twitter account that is like, you know how Tesla has the supercharging updates? There's a Rivian one. Here it is. @RAN Tracker. It's the Rivian Adventure Network Tracker. So they're basically always tweeting whenever Rivian gets permits. I'll post it in the chat here so you guys can find it. But basically, they're tweeting whenever there's a new Adventure Network being worked on, or they get approval, or it's actually installed or under construction. Very thorough. And that's why I don't think if I was...
Utah's so pretty.
If...
I saw the pin tweet. I'm like, that is such a pretty... Oh, wow. Anyway, sorry.
It is gorgeous. But yeah,
this is cool.
It's like... Rivian, I think the biggest issue I have with them is the charging network, but they're actively addressing it, and it's just going to take time. That's not them. From a lack of trying. So I'm like,
good for them.
I would feel a lot more comfortable with it 2 to 3 years from now when they've built that out, and they've also started working on both. What I'm most interested in is the dual motor, because that'll be cheaper, and the LFP pack, because that'll also be cheaper. Neither of which I think they're building right now, but they will be, and they're probably active. I know that RJ tweeted that they're working on it. They were like testing their dual motor powertrain in different environments and stuff, and how to calibrate without having 4 motors, because only 4 seconds 0 to 60. Oh, it's so slow. But
can't do that.
I just don't. I can't justify it. There's nothing in my life right now that says I need a pickup truck for X or Y. I admit that could change. But as of this time, everything for me is about...
Can we justify
efficiency.
something, though? I have something I want to pose to all of us. Mike hasn't said this part yet, but I feel confident that he's going to be in the same boat. Well, we can't justify. It's interesting that we are considering... Well, no. We are
Your
considering...
Model Y is a boat.
Shut up.
We're looking at our next EV, you know, because the high only lasts for so long, and then you need your next hit. We're looking at our next EV, and we're considering non-Teslas.
Makes sense. I understand.
That's interesting to me. And for me, my justification, my motivator for that is I kind of sobered up on some stuff that I was like, oh, well, maybe this and that. And I'm like, I don't want an FSD network. I thought I want that. And I admit, me personally, I have...
Well, plus you're not getting rid of your Model 3, right?
No, but but I did say that if something was to, God forbid, happen to that car, I won't do it again. I won't get FSD, or I wouldn't even entertain it. Because partly... I have so much fun just driving the darn thing. Like, EVs make me want to drive, like, out of my way. And
I never understood that when you said it until I got mine, and now I kind of get what you're saying.
Yes,
it's the one pedal driving, and the graceful acceleration.
It's
and the
fun.
Yeah.
Who needs VR when you have a Model 3?
I never enjoyed driving the gas car, but once I got the Tesla, I was like, I'm kind of okay if I don't have autopilot.
I'm mad
all the time.
I'm mad that my son will never know the stressors of driving a gas vehicle and hating it, and he's just gonna be born into spoiled world.
Hold on to the Yaris. You can show him.
Yeah, Brittany wants to. Brittany wants to hold it that long because she's like, we're gonna run this thing to the ground. Man. But
yeah, that's how we are. Yeah.
I don't want. Like, back then, in 2019, I wanted the FSD. I wanted the hands-free, drive me around, and Jarvis, take me around the block.
That's
and
my
let's
car.
Just...
That's literally its
Phoenix, name. Phoenix, take me out for a stroll. And I wanted to...
Heat up!
Pearl, me girl!
I wanted the luxury experience without... paying Model S prices, but I wanted that experience, and I've enjoyed it. But now that I have that accessibility, I don't really use it, and I don't like Model 3 update here. Within the last time we've talked about it, I've done road trips, and I still try the FSD, and I just like I enhanced autopilot is where it's at for me. Like that's what I am okay with. I want autopilot to do its thing for just, the adaptive cruise control. I'm okay with that. When I'm driving myself, like, I have more fun pretend like I have gears, right? But I'm just driving like this, and I like the control of it, and just the computer software for it being beta. It's just like it still makes more Brittany than me, but it makes us both feel kind of uncomfortable. And she looked at me. She goes, "You are not going to use FSD when our baby's in the car." And I'm like, "Yeah." And that realization to me, is like, I don't need it. I'm not going to use it. I don't trust it enough to protect my family now. And so it's like that's a realization that I'm like, okay, I love my Model 3. I love the supercharging network station. I love the UI on the screen and all that it comes with it. And I love all the games and the fart mode and the this, that, like all that stuff is fun.
It's crucial, yeah.
I kind of like, out of all of them, and I've said I like Rivian the most. Like price wise, I would probably take an EV6. If I had to get something today, I'm like, all right, then I'll probably do the EV6. But 2 to 3 years, let the network build up, and I can save the money more by then because I'll never take out another loan ever again.
And they have the exclusivity that I know you care about. You don't like your superchargers being shared.
I don't.
And the Adventure Network, at least the level 3 stations are exclusive to Rivian.
Don't call me out on that. I know we said it out loud, but like it makes me feel so pompous.
You call yourself out.
Sir, you own Apple products. We know. It's been known for this long.
Exclusivity.
Whatever do you mean? No, but yeah. I see what you mean, though. I would push back even further, I think, and just say that I've not been... The autopilot has been the most disappointing part of this vehicle experience for me.
Yeah.
By far. Like, other things exceeded expectations, and I'm still very glad I got it. But there's so many circumstances where it's just not... It doesn't feel safe to me or comfortable for the occupants.
Yeah.
Even the free version, even the navigate on autopilot. Like, there's so many... Maybe it's just because of where I drive, but... There's so many situations where like it's supposed to be a fast moving highway, but there's these random intersections and stoplights, and you can see them from miles away. They're stopped. There's a big pileup of cars, and you need to start slowing down. Autopilot doesn't want to start slowing down until the very last day, and then it holds really hard. Everybody's leaning forward, and then it comes down to a stop. And then if we're in traffic and it's going stop and go. It's still, I don't appreciate the acceleration of it's go fast. Oh, no, we're stopped. Oh, go fast. And I'm on chill. I'm on chill mode. This is not some setting that needs to be adjusted. It's just dated code because they're so obsessed with beta right now that they don't give anything out to the public yet. And I know that could change, and I'm hoping it does. Like they can give the FSD beta architecture and just uncheck boxes. Like, okay, it won't turn, but it will still do the, like... what beta does in a straight line. It's more graceful with acceleration, with pedestrians. I see the videos and how it's performing, and it's clearly much better than this. But so I'm glad I'm like within the ecosystem. I have the FSD computer, so it can get updates, and they could change that, and it could get better. So of all autonomous vehicles out there, I think this one has the hardware to do the best. But in its current state, it's been really janky, like especially with my parents were in the car. My dad was sitting here and I was driving, and I just turned on autopilot because that's what you're supposed to do, and a lane opens up that's a left turn lane on the freeway. It's not the lane, we're not turning or anything, we're just going straight, but because that lane opens up with autopilot on, the car goes and it jerks really hard at 75 miles an hour over to the left turn lane, which ends very shortly ahead. So I have to grab it and push it back into the lane we're supposed to stay in. And my dad was like, whoa, what did you just do? And I was like, that wasn't me. I was fixing the car. And he was like, why did it do that? And I was like, I don't know. It must have thought that was and I was so sick of having to explain it
and
to
then you
people
get
every time it
embarrassed
did
a little
something.
bit. You're like, oh
yeah,
my
because
God.
your hand's on the wheel. They think you're doing it. They're like, why did you do that? It was like, oh, it wasn't me. But I was just getting sick of the acceleration, and braking is not very graceful on this build. And, paid the $200 or whatever, opted into the beta program. But no, my version's on too new. I have to wait till it catches up to the 2.8 update. And just that whole process has been a headache. So
that whole
I
stop
found
and
myself just driving manually a lot of the time. I do like cruise control being adaptive. That's nice, but
that is nice. You talk about
Yeah.
the stop and go or the stoplight up ahead that you can see a mile. Like, oh my God, slow down. Why are you speed? I don't like that. To go even further, I don't like that for the fact that like I'm losing valuable regenerative opportunity right here by
oh yeah.
easing off and letting it go green. I love playing that game. How long can I make it go
Me too,
green?
yeah.
That is it's addicting. It's a challenge. Like how, I know how center can I keep the dial, but then when I ease up on it, I love seeing it. I don't even want I hate when it breaks and then it's the long sharp green and then comes back because then it's like I'm gonna lose it pretty quickly too. I like that slow burns. Like there it is. Ease it. Yes. Comes to a stop, and we're there. Another happy landing, or however. Yeah. Obi-Wan. Another happy landing. I like that. Whereas FSD or autopilot's going, and then it just drives, and like shoots it, and then like it's so unrelaxing, and then I get like, I'm sorry, it's the car. It's not like I get embarrassed. I'm like, Brittany knows it's not me. She goes, take it out of, just drive, please. I'm like, yes, yes, ma'am. So I don't even try it with her anymore. But anybody else, they'll be like, whoa, my mother-in-law, whoa, what's what? And I'm like, no, it's not me. It's the car. I'm sorry. Elon is not that bad, I promise. Like I feel like I have to defend my decisions about buying the car. You know what I mean? Like I gotta just.
Yeah, it is. That's how it was with my father-in-law in the car. It was like autopilot makes a weird move, and then he's like, "So why is he buying Twitter?" So Elon, anyway. I'm like, I just kind of want to go. I don't want to think about it, and. It's definitely taught me that driving can be a lot more of an art than a science. It's like how gentle you can be, how soft you can slow down and accelerate, and there's a beauty to it that's really hard to capture. And I'm sure the latest version of FSD beta is much better than what I'm using, but they're not making it easy for me to get that. $15,000 or $200 a month, and $200 a month until we feel like adding you is ugh. I don't know. It's kind of hard to stomach.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it still does the turn lane things that you described multiple times this
For you?
week. Yeah, multiple times in stop and go traffic with stoplights and all that. It sees a left turn lane. It's like, oh look, a new lane. Let me go into there to bypass this traffic. No, that's a left
and it's like
turn
I
lane.
know you can see the arrows. You can read the arrows in the road. You show them, but you're doing nothing about it.
One
that's a
thing
left turn lane.
That was really strange about the beta recently this week, and I think, mainly this week. It was taking me on very weird routes. One of which was like, take this off-ramp, and this off-ramp had the option to become an on-ramp back onto that highway. And so, dummy me didn't see this. I just thought, oh, blue line telling me to go this way, or like, I'm going to miss my turn. Let me follow this. Follow it, take the off-ramp. And then instead of like taking the additional like right turn off ramp to a new highway or whatever, it's like, oh no, stay straight and then merge onto the highway. I'm like, I was just on this highway. Okay. And then right after it's like, oh, by the way, take this giant roundabout way to get to work. That's like it's reportedly supposed to be like faster, but then like I just stay the course that I usually take to go to work, and it's like, oh, I guess you'll get there in like a minute or two less. I'm like, then why did you?
Yeah.
It's a headache. It's a headache.
I've had a version like that happen too.
Yeah.
And you showed me, I don't remember when, Mike, but you texted me the Reddit post someone made with the ultrasonic. They were saying like, how's robotaxis going to work when I'm driving through the snow and like all the cameras were like so completely covered. By the ice. And it was like looking at pulled up the camera view, and it's like you can't see anything right now. I guess that the bulls are just going to say, well, you shouldn't be driving in that case. But
okay,
I don't know. I think robotaxi in some limited form is probably going to roll out within the next decade, but I just don't think it's going to be anywhere near as scalable or as profitable as they thought. I think it's going to it'll probably be in a beta stage with like Cruise and Waymo, where it's like in some cities we're testing it, we're rolling it out, but like the rollout of it I think is going to go a lot slower than they expect.
Right.
Especially when there's those kinds of issues that we still see with it. And I really wish they would change their narrative on it at every time. We've been down this story. Can we talk more about Aptera, please? I'm looking at the pictures.
There's some pretty good pictures that they released recently, which I think Drew should.
Can we please talk about Aptera?
I'm so sick of full self-driving talk. It's so old.
Well, here. I do have a few news stories. I guess one being, I was going to relate it to your weird dream about the car being sucked into the void of the earth. But
I didn't like that car anyway, so that's okay.
No. But Rivian now has
the stories get the Rivian.
Yeah, Rivian now has a kneeling mode, which I thought was pretty neat, where height efficient people like Randy are able to get into.
Wait.
Height efficient? Is that what he called it?
Height efficient.
I prefer vertically challenged.
You want to be challenged? I'm saying that
I thought height efficient was a nicer way of putting it.
It is nice, yeah. But I was like, whoa, he's
like,
coming for my height.
With less height, he can do the same amount that we can.
Right.
So the Model 3 feels like a Y to him.
The iPhone mini is just an iPhone for me.
Yeah, that's a regular.
Tiny hands.
No, yeah. So what is kneel mode? Does it just drop the suspension as much as possible?
Yeah, once you hit park or you unlatch the seat belt. If you have this mode enabled, the truck basically just doesn't immily break itself into the ground. Right? It's not like a Hummer coming from space landing on a concrete floor and all that, but at least
it's not like the BZ4X where all the wheels just pop off at the same time.
Basically that.
Mike,
no.
I just want you to know you addressed one of my insecurities about owning a truck. I've delayed my whole life never driving a truck because I don't want to be that guy who's a short guy driving a truck. No, not about climbing in. No, I don't care about that. I don't want to be that guy where it's like, oh, he's driving a big truck because he's short, so he's compensating for something.
But the Rivian's not big, right?
No,
yeah, that's why he wants the small truck because it's closer to his size.
Before Rivian,
it's not like an F-150.
Before the whole EV thing, I really wanted a Tacoma. Like I like the size of a Tacoma.
Yeah, me too. I didn't want one, but I preferred that size over. I've driven a Tacoma more than almost any other truck, and I've driven F-150s and F-350s, and I don't care for that. There's a Lightning at one of my nearby Ford dealers, and they've officially brought it out. It's like in front where everyone can see it, and I'm tempted to go do a video on it because I think it'd be fun, but I'm kind of scared to test drive it, to be honest. I don't.
You want me to drive it? I'll drive it. I love driving trucks.
You go ahead.
Sure, I'll come over to your place. We'll go drive it.
That would be great. Mike can be the designated test driver, just like he was for the Ioniq.
Yeah, I did it for the Ioniq 5, so why not?
Like, Drew, don't you want to drive? No. If it's small, I would test drive a Rivian for sure. But the visibility doesn't look great. I don't know. Maybe I need to sit in it before I make up my mind. But
true.
Yeah, like I get the insecurity, Randy. That's fair.
You can have.
That's why I drive the smallest vehicles possible.
Same.
Although Aptera's kind of wide, isn't it?
It's actually gotten 1% bigger. So yeah, it's a little bit wider and a little bit.
Then
bigger
it makes
than
me
1%
thinner.
Did you guys see the Gamma video? I mispronounced it for an entire.
Yeah, you've been saying Gamma for like.
I don't know where I heard Gamma, but the last time I.
You're saying it like a British person, maybe, or someone who doesn't know how to say Gamma or Gamma.
I like the Gamma
Guma.
prototype.
The Gamma, yeah, it would be right. I haven't seen the video,
Americans call the okay.
I quickly swept through their update news page on Gamma, and I mean, I just like the pictures and I like the updates. So
they made some fascinating choices, and I can tell that the Aptera community is still relatively small, but it's incredibly passionate Very, very passionate community, because I did a video because there was so much Tesla news, and every time there's Tesla news, I'm like, well, Tesla's the biggest EV maker, and I'm a Tesla owner, shareholder now. So whenever there's Tesla news, I'm sorry, that does take priority for the channel.
Yeah.
Because Tesla's the big player. So I didn't get to talk about Gamma right away, but eventually when there was a break in the news, I wanted to do a video on them, and I finally got a chance to. And I was just weighing in on my opinions and what I like and don't like about the updated interior. And I was like complaining, but every complaint I had, people had a response. Everyone had like, well, they actually did this. Here's why they did it that way. And because a bunch of people that got to check out the prototype in person were asking all kinds of questions. And they made some changes. So like, I don't know if you noticed in the updated interior, but there's like a display behind the yoke. Now
it's now split.
That display is not a speedometer.
What?
It's
the cameras. Right?
It's the side repeater cameras. Yeah, the blind spot cameras. So you just have that right behind the yoke, and it took me a while to think about that. I was like, does that make sense? I guess that kind of makes sense, because they still want the speed and stuff to be on the center display, and I was like, okay, well, that's Tesla-like. I like that, but they want to do away with mirrors or have very small mirrors, so you're mostly going to rely on the cameras, and I guess they'll be always on, so you don't have to wait till you signal or something to see out those, which is good. That's probably my biggest issue right now with dropping mirrors on this car, would be that there's a lot of times I want to see what's behind me and I'm not signaling, and you can't always, there's not really a great place to just permanently put both camera feeds up. I guess you could kind of eat into the nav a bit and do it, but I don't know. Their solution seemed somewhat practical. And then I was complaining about the bezels on the display being awfully thick, and people were explaining to me that those bezels are actually the HVAC vents. So the air conditioning comes out of this seam between the display and the bezel. And I was like, well, I don't love the way it looks, but they claim it helps with manufacturing and efficiency, and if that's true, maybe I can get used to it, but I still don't think it looks very elegant. But
no, I think they could have done a better design with the AC. But hats off for them for trying to solve it in the way that they did.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear them dive into like, well, why specifically? Like, how much does that save opposed to just having the big open vent like a Model 3 or Y has? Like, how much simpler is that? Maybe it's a lot. If it's a lot, I could kind of understand it. But if it's like we save $3,
or just having a pillar mounted vent, because there are cars that have pillar mounted vents for air conditioning. Sure. Why not just do that? They have this. I mean, it has to be there, and that is the carbon fiber portion of it. They could just make sure that this spot don't put carbon fiber.
I'd have to imagine the design of every part of that vehicle is with efficiency in mind. So if there's a reason behind that, maybe I could understand it. But that's why it's just such a fun vehicle to talk about. It's like which compromises are worthy or not. The Aptera is kind of this whole like efficiency over all else type product, not even having a third seat, not having a fourth wheel, in the name of this will make it more efficient. So if that makes it more efficient, then okay. But no, I really want to drive one. I really want to see what it feels like.
Right.
Well,
it's
something I'm not happy about, but also kind of happy about in terms of redesigning and reshaping a EV product is Rivian having the electric gonads to take away the retractable bed and the camp kitchen in the R1T.
Yeah. People were mentioning that. How does that work? So is there no cover at all?
They probably just don't put anything in there. Or they had an option where there wasn't a tonneau cover there, so they do already have the CAD. Okay, so here.
No, there like is probably new Rivian deliveries.
Yes.
Do they have a cover over the bed?
No, probably not.
So it's just open on the back now, like a normal truck.
Yes, kind of like
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so they're getting rid of that just so that way they can re-engineer it, so that way there's not rocks and other things getting stuck in there. Good on them. But I didn't know that the camp kitchen had issues as well, or at least
apparently there's not been a single camp kitchen delivered yet.
Well, that explains why I haven't gotten my Rivian yet.
That's the one thing I was waiting on. No, I remember they were notifying people like, you can take delivery assuming you don't want the camp kitchen, or like you can add that later. And everyone was like, okay, if it's between camp kitchen and no camp kitchen, I'll take no camp kitchen in order to get the truck sooner, because everyone just wanted the truck.
Right.
I would make that call too, but then they were saying we'll ship it later, and now they're having to redesign it, I guess. So that's problematic for sure.
Mm-hmm. But at least
that's a shame, though.
I don't know. At least they're upfront about it. They're not just like, we'll get to yours eventually. They're like, we're just not making this right now. We'll make it later. Mm-hmm. It'll be much better. Buy our truck still.
Please buy it, yeah.
You'll be able to put it in this truck. Just
right.
We won't be able to put it in right now. Sometime in the future.
They definitely, just like any startup, are in that kind of cart before the horse type mentality, I think. I don't know how they started mass producing those tonneau covers. They seem so problematic that I was like, why did you even start? Like, so many people were reporting issues, and Rivian was reaching out saying, it's a known issue. We'll let you know when we figure out how to fix it, but we haven't figured out a way to fix it yet. It's like, that seems like quite the oversight to be like, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Right.
Yikes. But yeah, it doesn't make me not like the product, but the cover definitely helps with efficiency a bunch. I wonder if that's going to eat into aero.
Maybe, but I'm sure there is a lot of models that they've ran to where they found that it's okay to not have a tonneau cover. I mean, heck, it's an option that you can add to it. I don't think it's going to drastically reduce its efficiency. And even if it does, there is the temporary solution of getting one of those third-party tonneau covers, like kind of like what I have on my Ram. I got that.
Do they make those for Rivian?
I mean, you can get one that's small enough. Yeah, I'm sure that they have something that's a similar size, like a Tacoma bed, where it's not overly huge, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I mean, it's becoming a really big market enough to where I think these third parties are looking at all these new trucks like the R1T, the Hummer, the Lightning, the Silverado, and the Sierra, and eventually maybe the Cybertruck. Probably, I don't know what that's going to look like from a third party. But they're looking at this market and they're like, we need to make tonneau covers for these EV trucks now. So I think, if anything, it's in process, or they can capitalize on the situation and get a lot of those sales from Rivian owners who want a tonneau cover. So
that's safe to say. It's at least in development.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a loss. I think it's more of a gain for that market who wants maybe a different tonneau cover that actually works. So
no, they are beautiful vehicles, and I'm very impressed with how stable the software has been for this early of a company, of a product. And I think they nailed the proportions of like a comfortably sized pickup. And
I see at least 3 or 4 a day now. Every single day.
That's awesome.
They're all over the place.
I hope to one day sit in one so I can understand that feeling. Because
that's right. I'm surprised you haven't yet.
I listen. I got to touch the Cybertruck, so eat that.
I got to sit in a Rivian, so my butt got to touch it.
Mike got to crawl through a gear tunnel.
Yeah, partially get stuck at one point.
If I got to see the, I'm glad I saw the Cybertruck. That was a cool experience, even for Brittany. She really wanted to experience that, and that made her be like, I really want this truck, back in 2020. But today it's more like that was a cool experience.
What exists?
Yeah, I want to. This is how it feels like to me. Brittany knew she wanted the Cybertruck before she saw the Cybertruck, Then she saw the Cybertruck and she's like, I really want this thing, and she locked her vision onto this goal, and for a long time was saving a lot of money just with her income, put more to the side, like to say like, look, I'm really taking this seriously, and that's all she could really think about when it came to like a vehicle. She goes, I've never bought a brand new car, and I want to have that. I want to experience that, and it made her just confident in her decision with that. For me, I feel like I'm her in the Rivian department. Like, I think I know how I feel because every time I look at a photo of it or I'm on the website, I'm like, I feel something that made me almost remember. It's not the same and as Tesla, because Tesla will always be the first, and buying the first car is an experience that I'll never, you only get one first experience with it. But like, I get a parallel feeling of like butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, ooh, that looks nice. I wonder how. And then I fantasize like, what it'd be like if I sat in that thing and I feel like I'm Boba Fett with his ship, and it feels so cool, and that just like excites me. But I'm one step behind her, and I'm one step behind you guys, where it's like I never got to actually see it in person. So I'm very much in fantasy la la land about like, dang.
Have you not spotted one out there? I can't remember if you said you.
No, Lucid.
You've seen Lucids.
Oh, I've Lucid.
That's so
EV6, Ionic 5. I've seen a Roadster, an old Roadster, but those.
Oh, that's cool.
You'd probably see some Konas as well.
I guarantee
Konas
I would
and
see
Niros.
more if I went up to what the people in the area call, the cool kids call it Nova, Northern Virginia. Once I get into
Nova.
Arlington, Alexandria area, just outskirts of DC, I'm sure I would see, because that, the country's capital is always popping with all that cool innovation. If every time I go through there, I pass through DC, I feel like I'm in East Coast San Francisco, minus the skyscrapers. And then I go to New York, I'm like, okay, this is San Francisco. It sucks. But I see all the cool stuff coming down from DC. So on the I-95 south, driving by, because I had north to all that stuff, but driving down, that's where I'm like, hey, look at that. Brittany spotted a Rivian in California when we were last out there, but I did not get the privilege of doing so when we went out for the baby shower. But all the cool cars and stuff like that, with the exception of the Lucid, which happens to be somewhere in this town, all the cool stuff that I've been seeing is more like the Roadster. I saw that coming down on the 95 South. I was like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, where's he going? Does he have the range? Will he make it? Because I feel like
Randy,
only has
next time that you're here in the Bay, or not the Bay, the West Coast, we'll meet up in Venice, LA area, and they've got a Rivian always there at their Venice location, and
you could rent one on Turo. I know Randy loves Turo. All the Vietnam flashbacks in his head.
I was going through. I was doing a digital cleanup this week. Going through like my iCloud keychain, cleaning up old passwords. I'm like, I don't even use this account. I'm deleting. Then I got to the T's and I saw Turo, and I was like, screw this website, this business. I got so mad. Like, I will never. I hate them.
Don't go there. It's a dark place. So anyway, it's safe to say Rivians are on all three of our radars, or LiDARs, depending on who you ask. It's on our LiDAR because we're not all like, I don't think any of us have put a deposit down, right?
I was going to ask her,
that
but
we know of. Mike is smiling. He's going to pull a Model 3 delivery.
Last time Brittany put a deposit on the Cybertruck and didn't tell me until after she did it. So for all I know, she has a Cybertruck for everything. I mean, she has a reservation.
She has all the EV trucks.
Yeah, but like, I definitely would say that after the dealer markup stuff, I don't if I needed a truck, and for the size reason as well, I wouldn't go with a Lightning. And if the Adventure Network continues to grow, which I believe it will, thanks to that Twitter account, I'm seeing lots of progress there. And also with the future prospect of the R2 platform being a more affordable segment, I think could also be something worth waiting for. So it's something that we're not in that field yet, but we're all like eager to jump in, given the right circumstances.
Yeah.
I think you two are closer than I am, though, because I genuinely can't foresee anything that would change that would justify it for me. But
what's funny is like the only radar or the only EV vehicles that are on our radar for like the next vehicle we're gonna get are all trucks. Like I made a whole list.
Yeah.
Me and my wife. Yeah. Or I guess for me and Randy maybe as well.
And Randy.
But at least like for my wife, she's like, the next car we're getting is going to be a truck, and it's not going to be a gas one. It's going to be an EV, and it has to be just as good as the Cybertruck, which is tough. Yeah. It's impossible to beat because the Cybertruck's going to be worse than the Cybertruck. But it's stuff like we look at the R1T and we look at its specs and all its capability and everything, and we compare it to the F-150 Lightning, which we'd probably never get because its range is, But I mean, it's the same as the R1T, but the R1T at least promises they'll make a max.
Max pack would be your spec, I assume.
Yeah.
Yellow and green max pack.
Yeah. What we're bummed out for is the fact that all these trucks are kind of hitting the ceiling at 400 miles. Like the most recent one, which we didn't get to talk about last week, the GMC Sierra EV. Whether you want to talk about the Denali version, edition 1, or just it in general, it's basically as regular Denali's are, or not Denali's, regular Sierras are, or GMCs. They're just reskins of Chevy cars in a way, but just a little bit more luxury, which is why it's priced the way it is. But that was kind of a bummer because we were expecting, maybe it's going to have 500 miles of range, and then we're stuck with the wonderful dilemma of like, why would we buy a GMC? But it's got the range and the towing capability and everything. No, it's just Chevrolet Silverado, but with a higher price tag, a little bit more horsepower somehow. And
it felt very similar to the Silverado to me. Like,
yeah,
other than branding.
Well, it can do a crab walk
a little
compared to the Silverado, which can't. I think that's like it's only like.
I thought they said it had rear-wheel steering.
It does. That. I think maybe it's capable of it, but I don't think it actually can, or at least they don't have that
it's
feature.
a software lock.
I think
it's
so.
The iPad OS of trucks.
Because they both have midgates, which is pretty cool. It's just their midgates are a tad bit differently designed. They both have the same battery architecture, so they basically charge the same. They both have the same battery,
Ultium.
As far as I can tell. Yeah, it's all Ultium.
I watched MKBHD's autofocus on the Denali, and he mentioned that they wouldn't tell him what the battery pack was, but they said it was the battery pack size. He said that it was similar to that of the Hummer, so I would assume roughly 200 kilowatt hours. And just based on the overall look, I can tell it's not going to be a very efficient vehicle. So to hit that 400-mile range, I'm sure 200 sounds about right to me. I'm like, yeah, that's better than the Hummer, which uses a 200 kilowatt hour pack to go like 330. Yep. So that's, it's not extremely pointless. It's it's just a reskin, which is I guess why I have a harder time getting excited about it. But
I think it's like the better version of what Apple's tried to do with its iPad recently, where like it's that weird middle child that isn't like the best of both worlds, where the Sierra is the best of both worlds, and like it can do some of the things that Hummer can do, but it's mainly just a Silverado. But you can pay extra to get these features, and it may not be like, I don't know. We could probably see orders go up to like 90K like they did for the Hummer. I mean, heck, in the first 12 hours that you were able to reserve a GMC, they all got sold out in that first 10 to 12 hours. So
wow,
there is a lot of people looking to get this, and you could be put on a wait list, I think, right now if you're interested in getting a GMC Sierra EV, whether it's their base version or the Denali Edition 1, or I think my favorite, the AT4. The AT4 is definitely, I like the red accents. But
I'm trying to remember where okay, it is in the same place. Both the Silverado EV and the Sierra have the charge port in the same spot as the Teslas.
yeah,
They put them on the
left.
rear driver's side. So if Tesla did want to roll out adapters to the supercharging network, which I don't think they will, but if they did, those trucks would be compatible.
Yep.
They wouldn't need an extension or anything. They could just back in just like we do and plug in. So I'm like, hey, you led, Mary. You you got it. But yeah, the frunk seems bigger than a Rivian with easier access, but not as big as a Lightning.
Yeah. That's Lightning's
middle
definite
ground.
like special what's it called? Special feature in a way.
Yes.
Like that's its marketing feature of like we could put 2 golf clubs in this thing.
The biggest difference between that and any other F-150, basically, other than the fact that it's electric. But it's like
Very true.
there's like my neighbor has an F-150 and it's always right in front of me, and I'm like, it looks almost identical to the Lightning. It's like the same proportions and everything, but it just doesn't have that big frunk.
Yeah.
Other than that, though,
That's what I'd give at least to GM is that they redesigned. They actually like went from a base rock of like, we want to make these cars electric. Do we just reskin it? Like, or not reskin it, but redo its innards? Or do we actually go from bottom up? And these trucks at least are bottom up, where the Lightning is what appears. I don't think it necessarily is, but it looks very similar to just take shell off gas car, put it on battery pack and things. Oh, look,
you gotta
we
have a
extra
sharp
space.
eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look for that light bar.
I think all that has to do. There's a lot of distrust with moving towards a new vehicle as a whole, and so all these legacy automobile makers want to do the whole like, look, it's familiar, it's new, you know this design, you know this layout, you know this, and it's fine. The only difference is it's just instead of diesel, it's you put this plug in and there's
They're trying to convince everybody it's okay
Yeah.
that it's electric.
and then you got Aptera.
Right. No, yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was not a big fan of the Sierra EV's redesigned interior display. It looks straight from the Mach-E.
It's like a weird hybrid because I like the toggle switches on the bottom. It's very much in line with I don't know, just like that truck mentality of like flipping switches. Like in a whole bunch of Super Duty Fords, they've got a whole bunch of flipper switches on the top for like whatever you want attached to it, like a light bar, other lights, trailer stuff, different modes, stuff like that. And I like that. Was it that version of interacting with a screen, but also still maintaining some of the mechanics? But yeah, bringing the stupid knob that like basically is just a sound knob and doesn't really do much else. It's like
Just a straight up dial.
I'm
right
fine
on
with
the
it though.
screen.
Like I think I'm maybe not the antithesis of you, but like I'm more leaning towards like I like this than compared to like something that Ford has done or I don't know.
See, I would say that is what Ford has done. That's basically the same thing.
Yeah, but I think this is a better version of what Ford's done.
Basically, since the reskins, if I had to choose between the Sierra and the Silverado, I still think the Silverado interior looks better just because it's a landscape display and it still has those switches. But neither are ideal because I'm still more of that extreme minimalist. I prefer the Cybertruck interior is still peak to me. The original prototype with the countertop and the
but that's not
no
common.
display and
We've seen some leaked images of like it's now leather and you've got like now a heads up display screen right there. But
I'm not buying it anyway, but that's still just I prefer that like buttonless look of just the screen. And I know that not everybody wants that, so I'm glad there's options because clearly a lot of people are not going to be a fan of that design, but that's just the design I prefer. But yeah, I think it's a good considering who they're marketing it towards. I know a lot of people with GMC pickups, and I think a healthy middle ground is probably the best case scenario for them.
There is
It also
a
does. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please.
No. Okay. I do also like the fact that it does the same thing as like the Model S and X, where it's got that hidden storage in the middle, where the was it basically that surface, or like where what looks like to be a charging mat in the Sierra EV. You can push it forward, and then like where the cup holders are, you can push it back, and now you've got
yeah,
a huge amount of storage.
Move.
That's probably one of like my favorite integrations in these trucks. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah.
I would like to see a hybrid design of an interior that is still minimal, but there's some things I find myself with the Model 3 that I kind of wish there was a tactile feedback on, and if I can't get the haptic type of feel with the touch, then maybe I prefer a physical component to it.
Gasp.
I know. I actually
Slander.
when it comes to like interacting with the screen, if I'm not moving, then it's a non-issue. But I find myself I have 3 immediate examples that come to mind where I'm like, this is a little like, okay, it is what it is. When I try to open my glove compartment, I have to like go through many steps to get to that. And I don't like that. There's no quick action to it. And a glove compartment to me should be a quick action. I remember one time like I sneezed or something, and I started getting a bloody nose, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta get to the napkins. And I'm like,
autopilot. Beep, 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 beep.
It was well, it just
Pay attention.
Either give me a quick action, something that I don't have to look and swipe to. Like I would like a redesign of it, or I would like an actual like release button that I can hit. Preferably both, but like so the minimalism aesthetic, I don't want like switches. I want buttons. I would want something that's like either a mappable button or like dedicated buttons, but their buttons are flushed and they're cleaner. And I want something that I could just get to on, and then that's that. I don't like toggles and all that, but so a glove compartment is the first one that comes to mind for me. That's like, I want to get to that a little bit quicker, or at least give me a quick action button to it. The other one is actually controlling my vent, and it's not actually for me. Brittany adjusts her vents a lot more depending on, body temperature and mood as a whole, where I typically keep my cabin at 70 and year round. So some days that means AC's on, other times of the year it's the heater comes on, but 70 is my cabin preset. And I like that. For me, it's like I have it blowing the way I have it at all times, but sometimes Brittany wants to adjust it, and she's
That's interesting. It's the same story. I always have it on auto. I prefer auto. I just like to let the car figure it out.
Same.
But every time Louise gets in, she wants to have manual. She wants to set the fan speed and set the.
Well, that's funny because my wife is the same as well with
getting in. I see.
We found a trend here.
Oh, there it is.
Maybe instead of manual, it should be wife mode.
Well, I think it should be split. I think it should definitely there is like a split mode, side. But like being able to, it seems way too coupled at times with the AC. Like you have to like press an arrow to the left or right side for the passenger just to wake up that sub menu, so that way you can hit split or unsplit or whatever. Along with that, just all the other actions that you want to do. Where I think it would be nice to have some of that dichotomy of like, this is the passenger side, this is the driver's side. Here's what they can do, and that preset will come in when like it senses someone sitting on the seat because there's a sensor there.
Yeah.
Or leave it off and keep it as, okay, there's only one person in the car, and we can tell by the phone it's this person. This is what the AC should be doing, and like you shouldn't have to reconfigure it every single time. for like whether you have someone with you or if you don't have someone with you.
Yeah. Last thing, this one's not a actual redesign. This is something I just wish I can program or map with the steering wheel. I don't ever use the touchscreen for volume control. I just scroll the little ball. I wish I can click the ball to pause the music, pause and play.
You can.
Does it not do that?
It does that.
It did that.
Mine does that.
I'll be right back, guys.
Mine's done it.
Mine does that.
Congratulations, Randy. They've added that.
When I click the button, it turns on the speaker, the boop boop, and then I talk to it.
That's the right
if you
side.
hold it.
No, wait. The right side is for, if you click and hold in the right one, that's for the voice assistant. If you click the left one, that plays and pauses the music. And if you click it to the left or right, that skips music forward
I'm
or
going to test
backward.
this real quick, but I got to mute myself.
Okay.
And then
gonna have to try
scrolling
that.
up and down.
I scroll, but then when I click, the Siri comes on.
Maybe check your settings, but at least
Yeah,
on
it's
mine.
the left scroll pauses.
Yeah.
Maybe my
But
settings are wrong.
I will add, maybe, I don't know. I've never,
I didn't know that you
I
could
think it's always
unmap
been that
that.
way. But yeah, the one request that my wife always has, because she likes changing the music and the volume and stuff, is she wants to be able to tap the volume once to mute.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that she has to open the menu and drag it to 0 to get it to. Sometimes you just want it to. I don't want it
Maybe
to
a long
pause, but I
press.
want it to.
What about like a long,
long
press
press.
on? Because my wife likes to tap the little side arrow or the volume thing on her side, so that way she can bring it down or bring it up a little bit. Usually it's bring it down because I usually listen to music too loud. My poor ears. I'm gonna be deaf when I'm 50. But
Well, it also just starts playing all the time. Still, it loves the cars. You open the door and it's like, oh, start playing again. It's like, no, wait, hush.
I think you could turn that off.
I've yet to find the way to do it. It still wants to auto whatever the last thing was playing, unless you get back in. And so I have to remember to turn off the music every time we get out of the car, which I normally forget to do. But I still wish it was just like, don't auto play as soon as the door opens.
I have the opposite problem. I usually turn it off, and then when I go to get in the car, I'm like, why isn't it playing the music? Oh, that's right. I turned it off.
We need to switch habits, both of us.
Okay. I'll give you my habit.
I'm normally like, I just get home and open the door and plug it in and walk away. But yeah, I've looked around for controls and stuff on that. I still can't find it. But there's all things that can change, luckily.
I have
The
a
navigation volume's off, that's for sure.
Tesla software request that I know is not going to happen, but I'm just putting it out there in the ether. Tesla, please bring Apple Music natively to the screen. If
Microsoft can work with them, Tesla can work with them. Is that your mentality?
Y'all ain't playing nice. People are poaching. I get it, but I don't want to sign into Spotify. I don't use Spotify. I would much appreciate I only use my phone to play, playlists and stuff like that, and I have like pre-saved stuff, and like Spotify works and moves perfectly when I was using Spotify with Tesla, and I would love to have that for Apple Music. I mean, they play nice with YouTube and stuff like that, so YouTube Music is obviously going to be cha-ching for the user experience, but like it's weird that Apple is just intentionally absent in the vehicle, and I mean, we talked about this on the tech podcast, but I just don't like it when people don't play nice on purpose just to kind of like spite one another. I don't like it when there's withholding of user experience just because companies are like, screw those guys. Like that, like nobody really wins.
Yeah, they don't get along.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they don't like each other. There's bad blood between the poaching of employees and the Tim Cook not taking meetings, or the
But listen,
Apple wanting to buy them, get rid of Elon and stuff.
but we as the end user, the customer, we don't care about that business bureaucracy stuff. I don't care what bad blood. Same reason why I don't care who Elon is as a person. I don't have an opinion about him because I don't know him like that. And there are things I agree with and there are things I disagree with, but I don't care. Tesla runs beautifully as a company, and that's all I care about as a shareholder. And likewise as a shareholder with Apple, certain things I do and just do not care about. And this is one of those things where it's like, y'all don't want to play nice for ego purposes. You know, we're the better company, we're the biggest company, we're this and da 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 da. And like we feel the back end of it. Well, I definitely do. I know you use Spotify, Drew, but it would just be nice to have.
Not in the car. I mean, I don't have premium connectivity, so
is
Bluetooth
that a
has worked really nice for me. Like it's so simple that like when I get in the car, it just automatic. It's Bluetooth already, and I just set the music on the phone, and that way you don't have to cover up screen space on the Tesla display anyway. So I had the 30 days and it was fun, and I mostly appreciated the live view of Sentry mode. I thought that was really fun. That's probably what I missed the most. But outside of that, also Tesla Theater when you're out and about was fun. But I can hotspot off my phone. That still works. And just stream it that way. But just for music and stuff, like even if they added Apple Music, I wouldn't use it on there. I'd still, even if I had Apple Music, I would still just Bluetooth it to the car. I wouldn't pay $10 a month for that.
I do.
I'm an advocate of having options. There are times where
sure, yeah.
I think for me it's maybe the principle, or there's a precedent of it where like if you're gonna withhold just something as trivial as Apple Music, a streaming service, then that's indicative of bigger things in the future as well, if not now. That just prevents the experience of it. And maybe I'm still slightly jaded with like not having CarPlay, but I just like the idea of synergy. Software plus software can be a beautiful thing when done right, and it's I don't care about the companies behind it or the head people of it. I just want my time in a car, in an EV that's more tech than vehicle at times, especially with the interface and your experience with it. I just want it to be as seamless as possible, and maybe I want more Apple featured stuff because I just want that ecosystem to expand out. But likewise, even if Tesla plays nice, there's a good chance Apple won't, because they want to do their own CarPlay future car thing anyway. So they might have their own roadmap anyway. But I want those options there for convenience of sharing. Here's a small example. You can share keys in the Apple Wallet app and cards and stuff. You can share that with people. And I can see a scenario where it's like, okay, you don't have to download the app, but I can share my Tesla card to get you into my car, and then that would work just as good. And maybe that's a valet mode even. Like, well, turn it on the same way for valet, and now it's a locked, controlled experience, but one that still serves its purpose, and it's cleaner, it's convenient, and I like things like that. But we'll never get there if we don't even get something as small as Apple Music on Tesla. So,
well, even for your dream vehicle being the Rivian R1T, it doesn't come with Apple Music and doesn't play well with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So,
no, but I bigger than that, I care more about the utility of the vehicle, and that's why I think I like the R1T so much, that it serves the perfect purpose of what we would need as a truck, for its size, for its caliber, and even just
it's
like the cabin space.
It's a feature that you're willing to flex on.
Yeah. Because the tool factor, the utilization of using any EV outweighs the UI. Right below it is the UI, but the UI means you can have the best UI in a crappy vehicle and it just ruins the whole experience. Whereas like if I have a smooth operating vehicle and I have a great infrastructure to include charging stations and stuff, I care more about that experience than the UI of CarPlay or third party implementation. The only thing I care about when it comes to UI is the app, and that's where I'm spoiled with Tesla's app. Oh my goodness, as a widget, as an everything that I can't. Like, they set the bar too high. A part of me, I can't make another EV purchase outside of Tesla unless they have a good app going at the time, because I just got too spoiled. That is the only exception for, like, I have to have a rock solid app experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Although I do still think a poorly done UI can ruin a really great vehicle.
Yeah.
I think of Lucid when I hear that because I think is fantastic engineering, but people have just had so many horrible software issues with them. And
it sounds like their
bugs
version 2 update has definitely fixed a lot of those issues. So
I hope.
There's hope yet.
I'm happy to hear that, but there's still people that were waiting on them, and I guess they were rolling them out to insider users first so that they would report on it, but there were regular customers that weren't getting the update and waiting, and they had the vehicle for like a year. It was like a year of quite frustrating waking up to the car and it's not on and it won't activate yet, and you paid $150,000 for it or whatever. That's right. Yeah, that would tick me off a lot. So I do think you kind of have to pick your battles with software. I think if we did go the non-Tesla route, or if you went the EV6 route, that would probably feel like the bigger compromise. Is just when they have to fall back on CarPlay or Android Auto, I feel like there tends to be, it means they don't try that hard in other regions because they're like, well, they'll use CarPlay anyway. So
same thing with Electrify America. They fall back on someone else providing the service.
Exactly.
I could see to that, and I agree. I like in-house experiences more. That's why we prefer Apple over alternatives. But
I didn't want, from the experiences I've seen of CarPlay merging with other car UIs, it always looks kind of tacked on and clunky to me. And I'd rather have Apple take over the whole thing, which is why I was very interested in the enhanced CarPlay demos they were showing. I was like, either one of you pick the vehicle. Like, let CarPlay take over the entire thing, or make your own really good thing.
Yeah.
You don't like all this like halvesy. Okay, this is navigation, but okay, this is the car stuff. That's where you get conflicting animations and conflicting data, and it's just doesn't usually mesh that well for me. That's why I'm kind of fine with the Tesla UI. CarPlay is my touch bar for you, Randy. It's like I've never experienced a car with CarPlay, so I don't feel like I never fell in love with it. I've never tried it. I don't really. I've been in friends' cars that had CarPlay, but nothing about it really jumped out at me as what I need to have that. So until they did the enhanced CarPlay thing, and I was like, well, it'd be cool to see what Tesla's UI would look like if
for the record, I am talking about the enhanced CarPlay. I want that, but I want to take it a step further. I want them to have the EV version. I want them to have the EV version of like Matter, the home kit, the home app. Like I want it. I want everything communicating, but that's only because I want my ecosystem to be seamless,
right.
And I want it that enriched. I just want everything. I want everything to have a standard, I guess, where it's like, look, it all works. It doesn't matter whether you buy an LG or a Samsung TV. It has an HDMI. It has all these certain plugs and ports and stuff like that, and it does effectively the same thing. I want that. I want Matter equivalent to an EV, and not just to play nice with Apple, but for Android Auto. I hear it's not that different from CarPlay, so I want them to have the same experience. Now, if Tesla decides no, we're going to control it because it's our platform, I'm okay with that. Different third-party apps on the App Store. I'm okay with that. Meeting a certain standard and then pushing it out. And if that's why Spotify met the checklist, look, we will natively have Spotify right here that you can use, or Get on YouTube. It has a YouTube app if that was the thing, or Hulu. They had Hulu put on there. Same thing. Like if that's through their in-house controlled environment, fine. I just want to. I guess I want that standard. Maybe I want an app store for the EV. I don't know, but I want the idea of just something seamless and it's all cross. Because anything I played on Spotify with Tesla, all that information, whatever I searched, whatever I played, rolled over to my Spotify account when I got onto my phone or on the Mac app. I opened it up and same thing, left off where I last played for podcasts or something. Then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Go right back to what I was listening to. And I like that continuity with it. They should have some type of continuity or some type of handoff that could happen.
Yeah. Really think Apple could have made something cool if they would have tried, but they didn't. And I think they're too late now. But Tesla really stole their thunder on this product, this category. They took the iPhone moment away from them.
Oh, darn.
Oh, well. Any closing thoughts, gents?
Very excited to see Canoe being used by Walmart right now. They've got a couple of units delivering things, the last mile deliveries, which I think is really awesome. Canoe looks to be getting really close to full production again. I mean, like they always are. But it seems like they're going to go through with it. Whether they take a dive bomb in production where people just aren't buying enough is yet to be said. But with, I think, 9,000 plus lifestyle vans being contracted towards work van rentals from, I think, a company called Ziva or something like that. And
they've got orders.
Yeah, they've got tons from... They've got a decent amount from Walmart. They've got a large amount from Ziva. They've got a couple thousand from another company as well. This van's going to be used in the way that I want their big multi-purpose delivery vehicle to be used, and hopefully they get enough capital to get that to market eventually. But for now, hats off to Canoe for at least taking up like their biggest issue, which is who's buying this, and actually finding a solution to it, being people who want that last mile delivery and also those that want work van rentals and all that. And they found those customers, and the customers said, yeah, we'll pay this much for that. Pretty awesome. I'm very happy to see that Canoe orders. Is carving.
I don't know if they got cash. That's the trick. I don't know if they've got much money left in the bank based on the last earnings.
They've got commitment for those amounts of delivered vehicles. It's just they have to make them. And
right. That's the that's the tricky part. That's the Nikola dilemma. Can you make this? It looks cool. I just hope that they don't go bankrupt, because they're darn close at this point. It's scary, but the product
statistically they all can't make it.
Stop it.
They all can't make it. But
get Fisker out of here. If it means we have to sacrifice Fisker, that's okay. Keep Canoe afloat.
I'll drop Fisker and raise you a Nikola. I will drop Nikola for Canoe's success.
We still have Volvo, so sure, why not? I guess I'll be okay with that.
Tesla Semi is
I'll
about
be
to
honest,
come out anyway.
And maybe it's a hot take. I've said this before, but even today, I would drop Lucid.
Okay. Yeah, I would too. I feel like they're not looking too hot anyway, and there's a lot of competition in the luxury sedan space regardless, so it's like...
I mean, they're all luxury. It's an EV right now. Like early adopter, it's all luxury. It's fine.
You got Mercedes, you got...
If you're paying six
Porsche.
figures, it's luxury, okay? So even a truck can be luxury.
People don't think of it as luxury, depending on who you ask, but I think the Model S and X are luxury. You've got all these competitors up there, and Lucid's like, well, we can do high range, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no,
cool.
I think S and X is definitely luxury. Not even because of the size.
It's a weird term. It's not very specific. Some people say it's
proprietary
not a
tech
luxurious material.
The X has the wings. The S has, like, I mean, there's just cool stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I Lucid can be the first one I'd let go. There's nothing exciting about them that I would deem worthy of making it to the finish line if there was a thing of early adopter. Like just like,
wow,
you tried.
Suck it, Lucid. I guess we're hard on them today. But I would rather Canoe succeed if I had to choose one. Canoe's at least original and iconic and recognizable, and they're going after a untapped or underserved market, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm rooting for
Well, we
them.
need it. More people are ordering things online, so
Yes, definitely.
they're definitely carving that corner of the market.
Sounds good. Thank you all. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy Halloween! There, you can insert it. You can insert it at the end.